Hey, welcome back to What's Wrong with This Picture. I'm Dave Dufour here at RB Newsnet at rbnn.tv, and with me is Dennis Guillaume. We've been talking about macro photography, and there's a couple of other things that you might want to think about. We're going to move, just to give you the sense of where we're headed, we're going to talk a little bit about some photo sharing opportunities or options that you also have during this segment. And then in our third segment, we're going to come back and look at some really great macro photography examples. First, what are some of the additional pieces of equipment or things that we need to think about with macro photography?
We started to talk about accessories that might go with macro photography. One was the close-up lenses, of course, and another one that we ought to consider is the macro focusing rail.
Yeah, we have a picture of one.
We have a picture of there it is. This is a cute little tool. It allows you to mount your camera on it and then mount it on a tripod. It gives you a rail that lets you move in minute detail, move forward and back in very small increments, moving the camera and the lens and the whole thing forward and back to position the focus exactly where you want it in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also can move it left and right to get to exactly the right position you want to be.
Those are essentially just adjustment wheels on each side, so it just kind of rolls back and forth.
Right, when you turn those,
like a fine tuner.
Yeah,
huh?
it's exactly, yeah, it's like a fine tuner. It allows you to really put the focus point where you want it to be, and it's a little easier to do than trying to mess with the actual focus on the lens itself.
Right. Well, you mentioned tripod also,
Yep.
Is there a recommendation on tripods, or can you just any old cheap tripod is good, or how?
Well,
and why do you need a tripod for macro photography?
Well, you first of all, you're moving in very close. You're magnifying a great deal. You're in there real tight, and you're wanting to get crisp detail. It's really helpful if you've got one thing about your tripod. It should be sturdy.
Okay.
Don't rely on one of these real flimsy but nice portable ones that are real short and easy to extend and folds up small. But really look for one that's sturdy. Look for one that the legs will splay out all the way out so that you can get close to the ground.
Right.
And some of them even have a center post that will lay over sideways so that you can get even closer to the ground.
Right.
Because a lot of times what you're taking pictures of may be right down there near the ground in the first place.
Yeah. Well, the thing it occurs to me too is that if you're trying to get a lot of light on a small subject like that, you're dealing with depth of field that may be extremely fine, which means that any slight movement of your hand takes you in and out of that depth of field.
Now, another thing too that you should consider if you're really going to be serious and get into it is a ring flash that actually becomes fixed to the end of the lens.
Okay.
And
it's a flash.
It's a flash. It's got a round tube that goes around the lens itself. It distributes the light real directly on the subject, as opposed to trying to make a on-camera flash point down to where you want it to be. This flash goes straight out in the same line as the lens itself, so it displays the light directly on.
Right. How about a cable release?
Cable release is always a good idea when you're using using a tripod. The other thing about DSLRs that you learn is that mirror on the inside that flops up just before the shutter goes off causes, in highly magnified images, causes a certain amount of blurring because there's a vibration. So most DSLRs also have a feature that is a mirror lockup, which means you push the button once. When you have it set for mirror lockup, you push the button once and the mirror goes up. Now you can't see through the viewfinder anymore. But the mirror goes up, and then when you push it again, then the shutter goes off, so you don't have that vibration of the mirror moving just before the shutter goes off.
Okay, great. All right, well, I think we've covered that subject. We'll look at a few macro shots here in just a few minutes. One of the things we've wanted to share, we do get questions about sharing photos and sharing them online. Digital photography gives us an awful lot of options to do this. Of course, one of the most common and maybe the easiest way to do it, to share your photos online, is via Facebook. I know there's maybe a lot of viewers out there who are thinking, oh no, I'm not going to get into Facebook, that's for kids and everything else. But it really has become kind of a universal website and communications vehicle for all ages. And so, and it's a great place to share photos. Just very quickly here, I can show you the photo sharing on Facebook is pretty darn simple. This happens to be my page. If I want to add a photo to my Facebook page, I've got to figure out where it is here. It's very simple. I can upload photos and go to my photo area here real quickly. There it is. Upload photos here, and it's pretty simple. You open it up, and then you can select the photos that you want to upload, and it's very, very easy. I'm going to go to my pictures folder, which is where most of my pictures are, coincidentally. And let's just scroll down here, and there's a great picture of my granddaughter, and we're going to double click on that, and it becomes part of that. It can go into a photo album, so you have various albums, and I might name this album. Hang on. There we go. And we create an album all about my granddaughter, and then it shows up in here as an album. So you can actually upload more than one photo. Let's go back to the photo area here. And what's nice about that too is that your photos very often they get instantly shared with your friends. Facebook is not cooperating a great deal, but it's a pretty simple way to go. Another good option is something called Picasa. P-I-C-A-S-A. Picasa is a desktop piece of software for organizing and doing some photo editing on your pictures, but it also is online, and it's a place where you can set up various albums and then also share those albums. You can provide links to your friends and relatives of, say, an album of photographs. Here's one very quickly. Some of these are there. I opened up an album here called, just for this show, What's Wrong with This Picture? And we'll open that up. There happens to be one picture in there. If I want to upload an additional picture for What's Wrong with This Picture, I pick that album. There it is. And that's the album that we're going to be uploading to. And then we're going to choose some photos to upload. And there's a picture of my hometown, downtown Elkhart, Indiana, and we're going to see that. Now we can go back to my photos. We're back to the home here. And What's Wrong with This Picture? There's the album. And now there are two photos in there. You can also view these as a slideshow. And or you can flip through them like that. And again, you can provide this link to your friends. You can also embed these kinds of these photo albums into your into a blog or other website that you may happen to have. So anyway, that's just sort of a short course on at least a couple of ways to share photos. And we talk about in What's Wrong with This Picture the whole compose, expose, and dispose. The dispose is the what are you doing with your pictures? Yep. Pictures are best when they're shared, and so there's a lot of ways online to do that. We're going to be talking about more of those in future episodes. So we're going to be back in just a moment, and we're going to look at some examples of macro photography, which we've been talking about, and maybe give us a few ideas for how you might like to approach this aspect of photography. So stay with us on What's Wrong with This Picture. Have a question or a comment for Dennis Guillaume? Get in touch at picture@rvnn.tv, and don't forget to send us your RVing pictures for possible use on an upcoming episode. You can also leave a voicemail for Dennis at 877-578-RVNN, extension 704. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. Today's show is brought to you by Angie's List, where you'll find thousands of unbiased reports and reviews about service companies in your area. Whether you're looking for a roofer, plumber, house cleaner, dentist, or even a doctor, Angie's List members share their experiences with each other so that you can choose the service company that's right for your job. Companies can't pay to be on Angie's List, and the reviews come from people just like you who have had experience with the companies mentioned. To find out more, go to rvnn.tv and click on the Angie's List ad.